Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Christian Babcock, Joseph Dycus, Nathan Canilao, and Mike Lefkow joining us for the top of this show. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Well, we're glad to have you. Mike's doing picks for us this season, as he always does. But with the addition of Christian, Mike's only going to be making some cameos, and today is one of the days that we are bringing Mike Lefkow back. He is a high school football expert, longtime expert of high school football here in the Bay Area. And unfortunately, we start today's show with a lot of somber news with the past. And a really nice story about Steve in today's website, Mercury News East Bay Times. I think that posted yesterday, right, Nathan?
Yesterday.
On Monday. Mike Lefkow, you've been around Contra Costa County football for a long time. What did Steve mean to West Contra Costa County, Pinole Valley, Salesian, and what did he mean out there in that part of the Bay?
Well, he was one of the great coaches in West Contra Costa County. I said there was a Mount Rushmore of coaches in West Contra Costa, and I put Steve Alameda in there along with Jerry Duker, Dan Shaughnessy, and Frank Milo. Alameda always had really good teams. They were always well prepared. They always played you tough. He produced some good players, as Nathan pointed out in his story. I mean, Thomas DeCoud played for the Atlanta Falcons. He went to Pinole. DeMarco Farr from Kennedy High in Richmond. He went to he played for the St. Louis Cardinals Super Bowl team, the one that won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, he had some really good players and really good teams, and he was just a nice person. You'd call him up. He'd always return your call. You never felt any tension with him. He was just an easy person to deal with, and I'm sure it was the same for his players. And like I say, he always had good teams at both Kennedy High and Pinole. Mostly, he was at Kennedy High a lot longer, I think, than he was at Pinole Valley.
Right, and he was a Salesian graduate, right?
That
Nathan, I think I read that in your story.
Yeah, he graduated from Salesian, and then he actually went on to go to 4 different colleges in the Bay Area to get his teaching credentials, which I thought was really interesting.
And then Kennedy, Richmond, and then Pinole.
Well, also Nathan pointed out he started his coaching career actually with the Richmond Steelers Pop Warner team, and for many years the Steelers were really a great Pop Warner team. And I know a lot of people don't think kids should be playing Pop Warner, but he did a fabulous job with that organization. And in that area, Pop Warner was very important and very good for the kids. And we used to just watch the Richmond Steelers play and know they could beat just about anybody around.
Wow. Nathan, you talked to a lot of people yesterday. What was the commonality there in all the interviews you did for the story?
Oh, Mike brings up the Mount Rushmore. I think everybody I talked to, he's the top. He's certainly one of the top coaches that they've played for. Really revolutionized West Contra Costa County in high school football. You look at his teams, Kennedy. Before. I believe 2011, Ben Enos in 2011 wrote about how he had one of the only NCS titles from West Contra Costa County. So, and then now you look at it now, and you have your El Cerritos, your Salesians. Those teams are thriving, along with Pinole Valley still up there. So he was really a pioneer and become being a guy who could take kids from West Contra Costa County and make them make those schools contenders. And also he was one of the first guys who was known as a player coach. Everybody I talked to said he got along with all of his players from when they were coming up, when they were 14 years old, all the way till that they were all much older and graduated. So I think for Steve, I think his connections with his players were certainly his best attribute as a coach and even as an educator.
And he was just quoted in Frank Milo's story when Frank passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Just a few weeks ago. Always a tough transition when you go from someone passing, but we also have football to talk about on this show. And Nathan, last week we did our picks, and not a single person on this panel picked Serra to beat Folsom. Serra did beat Folsom 22-21. You were there. You got to experience the blue turf and a big win by a Bay Area school. I've been there a number of times to see that happen. Just describe what it was like and how good is the Serra team?
Yeah, I mean, Serra definitely heard. I think they watched the show. I think they've read pretty much everything they could. They obviously played with the chip on their shoulder. And I think what I highlighted in my story was they are coming into the season as what they believe is underdogs. You know, it was a lot of questions regarding who was going to step into each role after graduating with 18 of 22 starters from last season. So, you know, at Folsom, they kind of took that mentality on in classic Patrick Walsh fashion. I mean, they really controlled the clock. Folsom, in the final quarter, Folsom QB Ryder Lyons touched the ball one time, and it was the last 20 seconds of the game or 10 seconds of the game. So they really know who they are. They have an identity. I think a lot. You know, the team is a lot more talented than a lot of people give them credit for. And I think it's, you know, obviously a big game against De La Salle this week, but this is a good team. This is, I think, one of, you know, Patrick Walsh's good. If he could continue this, it's going to be one of his better years because this team, I think, is special.
Mike Lefkow, before we let you go, how good of a coach is Patrick Walsh, and what would a win over De La Salle on Friday mean for Serra's program?
Well, I think Patrick Walsh is a terrific coach. I mean, I've known him since he was in high school at De La Salle, and he was a great player. And now, of course, I think he's a great coach. I think a win over De La Salle on Friday night, I mean, to me, that almost cements, at least for now, that his program is the top program in Northern California. And, you know, name a better program than Serra. And maybe at the same time, name a better coach than Patrick Walsh. So I think a victory on Friday night, hey, if somebody asks me who the best school and best program is, I would say Serra High School.
Mike, do you have anything else you want to add before we let you go?
I think the one thing I was going to go back, you know, we were mentioning Salesian a few times and talking about Steve Alameda, you know, and there's another coach who eventually might join that Mount Rushmore group, and that's Chad Nightingale at Salesian. There's a great coach too, hopefully not for many years, but there's another guy that you could put on that Mount Rushmore group, and he's done a fabulous job at Salesian. That would do it.
All right, Lefty, thanks for joining us. And viewers out there, Mike Lefkow will be joining us throughout the season periodically whenever there's a big story or something that we want him to touch on. So thanks, Lefty. All right, Joseph Dycus and Christian Babcock, you haven't talked yet, but we'll ask you guys real quickly. I'll start with Joseph. You're going to be out at De La Salle. I think I might be out there too. You're going to be out there on Friday night. What are you most looking forward to as the Padres make the trip to Concord to try to knock off De La Salle for the third year in a row?
You know, was reading Nathan's story and keeping up with his Twitter updates, it seemed like Serra was, you know, Serra's the 2 years that I had been here before. They were kind of a high flying team. They could run the ball, but they had a quarterback going to Oklahoma State, and they would throw the ball all around. And it seems like this year they're kind of gone back to the, I guess, double wing, very run heavy, lean on the offensive line, and be physical. And what I'm really looking forward to is seeing how does that do against De La Salle when De La Salle, as you saw, Darren, they are very physical. They are very, very tough. They like to run the ball. I guess what they say, style will make fights, and we'll see if that style can keep up with De La Salle in Concord.
Right. Christian, what do you think? I mean, Serra proved quite a bit last week, right? Going on the road and winning on that blue turf after what everybody saw Folsom do to Long Beach Poly the previous week.
Yeah, I think it should be a great matchup. Like Joseph said, it's not often these days. A lot of times, especially in high school, people like to air it out. They like to spread things out. But I think you're going to get a lot of old school football and two really talented teams. So it should be a great game.
One thing about Serra is they can go to that double wing. They have done it. They used to do it quite a bit more. You're right, Joseph. They did air it out with Maui Smith the last couple of years, but whenever they need to chew up the clock or shorten the game, that's just an old school high school trick, and Patrick Walsh does it as well as anyone. Against a high-powered offense, he knows how to shorten a game and knows how to control the clock. The way they look at it is you've got 4 plays to make 10 yards, and they'll go for it anywhere to make that extra yard. They're not punting on 4th and 1. Their offense knows they've got 4 plays to make 10 yards, and that keeps that clock rolling, right, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, going back to Friday's game, I mean, it would be 4th and 3. I mean, 4th and 1, of course, but there's times where it was 4th and 3, 4th and 5, where they're going for it, and they trust their offensive line that they're big up front, and they use it to their advantage.
Guys, do we have anything else we want to touch on before we get to the picks? We got 15 games to pick, and we've already addressed a couple of the storylines going into this week. Anything else before we get to the picks?
Let's throw out really quickly. I was at McCymonds Reardon last week, and Reardon had one of the better comebacks I've seen in high school sports. They were down by 14 with 6 minutes left and scored quickly twice. And then, they could have gone for the tie or gone for overtime. And instead they decided, no, we're going to go for 2. And instead of, I thought they were going to go out 5 wide, all the receivers, they line up with 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks, and they run right up the gut. So I thought that was a great game to start off my high school season.
You know what that reminded me of? Campo Lindo down 14 last year against Acalanes in that last game of the season for the league championship, scoring 2 late touchdowns and then going for 2 as well, and winning. So those are always fun to cover. Christian, you have anything before we get to the picks?
Yeah, I mentioned this in my story, but I just thought it was worth noting at the Santa Clara McDonald game I went to. There was a moment, obviously, it's McDonald's first season as a varsity program. They're kind of understaffed, you could say. They don't have a lot of players at this point, no senior class. But there was a point where it sort of threatened to spiral out of control. I thought the coaches and the officials did a really good job calming everyone down and making sure that game finished, without things going off the rails.
Always good for the officials to take control and to be the adults on the field, which is what they should be. So that's great to hear.
And Darren, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts on De La Salle last week? You saw them play Grant, and Grant's obviously a great team.
De La Salle was very old school De La Salle, running that veer. Toa Fave is as fast as anyone. Quarterback, he can air it out. They didn't pass very well in that game, but Coach Allenbaugh pointed out that they will get better at it. They've passed well in their scrimmage the previous week against Jesuit at Carmichael. Also have passed well in practice. They just need to do it in a game, but I'm not sure they actually need to with running backs like Deuce Jones-Drew, the son of Maurice Jones-Drew, who we wrote about in the game story and also in Monday Morning Lights, and Derek Blanche and Dominic Kelly, who didn't even play. I didn't even mention Dominic Kelly was out with a slight ankle sprain, and he is expected to return this week. So there's 4 guys in that backfield who are capable of taking it the distance from anywhere on the field. So, and then they're running behind a pretty stout line. So it's going to be that's going to be a heck of a game on Friday. Could be a quick game. For the 7:30 kickoff. Let's get to our picks. We'll speed through these, starting with a Thursday game that Christian is going to be covering. It's Milpitas, which not too long ago was one of the top teams in all of the CCS. I think demographics have changed and numbers have changed, at least with the football program, but the Trojans may be on their way back. They opened up the season last week with a 35-0 victory over Oak Grove. They're going to be playing Santa Teresa, which beat Fremont of Sunnyvale 48-7 to open the season. This one is scheduled to be at Milpitas. I'll start with my pick. I'm taking Milpitas. Mike Lefkow's going Milpitas. So 2 from Milpitas. Joseph Dycus, who you got?
I do think it's going to be fairly close, though. I think home field advantage will play a part, but I mean, Santa Teresa looked real good on a Thursday.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm going Santa Teresa too. I don't know how long this mojo they have, just with everything that's gone on with the program, with the big theft at their field and the lights getting fixed. But it seems like there's a lot of energy, and they played incredibly well last week, won by over 40 points. So I think Santa Teresa keeps it rolling this week.
There you go, Nathan.
Yeah, I have Milpitas. I think their defense is really, really good, and I think this will be a good game for them to kind of come out and show that they're going to be one of the top teams in their league.
3 picks from Milpitas and 2 Santa Teresa. Friday, Monta Vista, which looked impressive in its opening game last week against Granada, winning 41-14. They're going to be at home to play Bishop O'Dowd, which also looked impressive in its season. They're routing Tamalpais 51-3. I went back and forth on this one. I'm going Monta Vista. I just think playing at home, I think they might have a little bit too much talent for O'Dowd, but who knows? I could see this one going down to the wire, and I wouldn't be surprised if I come up on the short end of my pick here. But I'm going Monta Vista. Lefkow's going Monta Vista. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Monta Vista. I think this will be a really close competitive game, and it's pretty close to a coin toss, so I'm going to go with the home team in this one.
Nathan.
I got Monta Vista. I think there's too much Division I talent on that team. Also home game, so I'm going to take Monta Vista.
Joseph.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a sweep as much as I hate picking against an Oakland school. Yeah, in Monta Vista, you got Fresno State quarterback, Washington running back, and the Arizona tight end. I mean, that's a lot of talent to overcome.
Game 3 on the list, Salesian. Also impressive in its opener, beating Piedmont 46-14. They're going to be hitting the road to go to Hayward to play Moreau Catholic, which beat St. Mary's of Berkeley 37-0, which that was a rematch of a playoff game that I believe St. Mary's won last year. So Moreau looking very impressive in its opener. I'll let you go first, Joseph.
I went back and forth on this one, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Salesian, coached by, as Lefty said, a guy who could be on the West Contra Costa County Mount Rushmore and Chad Nightingale. They handled Piedmont pretty easily, so I think they'll win a high-scoring game. I'll predict.
Joseph or Nathan, who you got?
I have Moreau Catholic. I think Moreau's offense, their trio, quarterback, running back, wide receiver is going to be too much.
All right, so we were breaking up a little bit there. Apologize for the technical issue, but Nathan, I think I heard you say that you're picking Moreau Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay. Christian.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Salesian on this one. I think they have the edge as a team, and I think that's going to overcome any home field. I think they'll travel well and win this game.
All right, and I am taking Salesian as well. I just think Chad Nightingale, not to take anything away from Keith Miner, because I think he does a heck of a job. He's done a heck of a job at Moreau Catholic. And this one's going to be really close, but I think Salesian is going to win on the road and stay undefeated. So taking Salesian as well. Hillsdale, Half Moon Bay.
What does
Lefty is taking Moreau. Lefty is taking Moreau. My apologies for not giving Mike Lefkow's pick on that. We'll start with Mike Lefkow on this next game. It's Hillsdale at Half Moon Bay. Half Moon Bay looked that was a big win for Half Moon Bay last week, winning over Burlingame, which I believe Burlingame is in the top league in the PAL this year. So big win for Half Moon Bay, which had a down year last year, but maybe they're on their way back. Lefkow's taking Hillsdale, which also had a big win last week, beating Livermore 29-18. So Lefkow taking Hillsdale. I'm taking Half Moon Bay. Christian, who do you got?
I'm going Hillsdale. I think they got this one.
Hillsdale. Joseph.
I am going with Hillsdale as well. I will make a quick correction. I believe that Half Moon Bay that Burlingame is actually in the second division PAL. They got moved down with Mountain View
Oh, okay.
and got replaced by Palo Alto and Menlo School.
Okay, that's right. So Burlingame's now in the De Anza division. That's right. Nathan, who you got?
I'm taking Hillsdale.
All right.
They beat an EBAL team, and that's no small feat. Hillsdale.
All right, you're taking Hillsdale. Next game on the list, it's the Big Bone game, which Lincoln has won for like the last, 25, 30 years?
26 in a row. Yes.
Is that what it is now? 26 in a row? They're 0-1 playing at San Jose 1-0. I'm not going against Lincoln. I'm taking Lincoln to win this one. Nathan, who you got?
I'm taking Lincoln as well.
All right. Christian?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lincoln too. I don't think the streak is ending this year. I know they had their struggles against Willow Glen last week. I was there for that. But, talking to them after, I think they're going to be very motivated after how they played against Willow Glen to get back on the right foot, and they'll win this game.
Joseph?
You know how much I want to pick San Jose is a lot, but I can't do it when Lincoln's won 26 in a row. So give me Lincoln.
Okay, it's a clean sweep for Lincoln. Lefkow also took Lincoln. Sacred Heart Prep, Sacred Heart Cathedral. This should be a great game. Didn't Sacred Heart Cathedral go winless last year? All right, they opened up the season with a 43-0 win over Soledad. Sacred Heart Prep looked impressive in its win over Seaside, winning 38-6. This game is at Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, place that Joseph, I believe, wrote about in his top stadiums to go watch high school football. I think the road team wins here. I'm taking Sacred Heart Prep, and Lefkow's also taking Sacred Heart Prep. Joseph, who you got?
Sacred Heart Prep as well. I do think it'll be a great game, but I was reading the roundup item I believe Christian wrote, and Sacred Heart Prep, their running game is as impressive as ever.
All right, Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, they certainly played well last week, so I think they're gonna take this one, and that's Sacred Heart Prep.
Sacred Heart Prep.
Yeah, I'm taking
Nathan?
Sacred Heart Prep. 275 yards in the ground. I think that'll be too much.
All right, this next one, we don't know a lot about Salinas, except that they're a very strong program. They're going to be making their way up north. This is a season opener, I believe, for Salinas. Their max prep record shows 0-0. Taking on Valley Christian, which they beat Wilcox 24-7 in one of the marquee games last week, but it was much closer than 24-7. It was tight deep into the second half, and a couple of late scores by Valley Christian. This is the home opener for the Warriors, and I think they go to 2-0. I'm taking Valley. I'll go around starting with Nathan and then to Christian and Joseph. Nathan, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Valley. I think second game of the season. I think the opening.
We're losing you, Nathan. You're taking Valley?
I'm taking Valley.
Nathan, I think we're losing you on your video. You're going to have to go my route. Go no video. So Nathan's taking Valley. Joseph?
Yeah, I'm taking Valley as well.
And Christian?
Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to pick against a team that has my name in it, although I did that last week. But this week, I think they're going to win it. They're a very good team. They're going to win this one.
You learned your lesson.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
You
learned your lesson.
Never pick against Christian. That's the lesson.
There you go. So it's a clean sweep for Valley, Christian?
Yes.
All five of us. San Mateo at Aragon. Did a little bit of research. San Mateo with a win over Boa last week, 17-6, and Aragon with a 14-7 loss to Pioneer. Aragon's at home. These teams have played 15 times in the Max Preps era, and Aragon has won 13 of them. I think it goes to 14. I'm taking Aragon to win its first game, and Mike Lefkow is also taking Aragon. Joseph, who do you got?
I went back and forth on this. I'll take San Mateo.
I'm taking San Mateo as well.
Nathan? And
Yeah, I guess
Christian.
I'm going to make it a clean sweep for us kids here. I'm going to take San Mateo too.
So the two veterans are taking Aragon, and the three young guys are going with San Mateo, the Bearcats. All right, we got one more page to go. Bishop Montague Reno, is that right? Hitting the road to play the Pittsburgh Pirates. This Bishop Montague team beats St. Mary's of Stockton, I think. I think that was St. Mary's of Stockton, 21-14 2 weeks ago, but then got hammered by Rockland 48-17 last week. And then Pittsburgh opened its season with a rout of Monterey Trail. I think Pittsburgh goes to 2-0. I'm a believer in the hype. I think this Pittsburgh team is not pretty good. I think they're really good. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Nathan, who you got?
I'm also taking Pittsburgh. I think they moved to 2-0 with a bunch of talent and a lot of momentum.
Christian?
Yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a team in Nevada other than maybe Bishop Gorman that could beat Pittsburgh. So I'm taking them to win this one.
All right, and Joseph.
I will take Pittsburgh as well, and I will point out that Bishop Montague, they have Brandon Mann, quarterback, started his career at Leland and then played at SI, I believe, last year. So
I think he might have had a cup of coffee at Serra too.
Man, what school hasn't he played at? I guess
He's the well-traveled
oh,
man,
yes.
right? The well-traveled man. All right, Liberty.
And then Lefty.
What's that? Oh, Lefty. Who do you think Lefty's taking? He's got Pitt.
You never know. Don't ever assume.
Lefty's taking Pitt. This next game is really intriguing to me. Liberty Brentwood. They had a great game last year in Brentwood. Hitting the road to take on Los Gatos. Both teams 1-0. Both teams won last week over. Let's see. Los Gatos beat SoCal 14-7, and Liberty beat.
Liberty beat Frontier.
Frontier of Bakersfield 24-7. I'll let you guys go first, and then we'll bring in the Lefkow and my pick. So, Joseph, who you got?
You know what? I get they're playing on the road, but Liberty, I mean, they've got some firepower. And Jackson Bell, 200+ yards from scrimmage last week, and 2 touchdowns. And I'm interested in seeing how good this Los Gatos offense is, because they only scored 14 against SoCal. Granted, SoCal's a very, very good team. So give me Liberty.
Nathan.
Yeah, I'm also taking Liberty in this matchup. I like the athletes that they have. I like their running game, so I'm going to go Liberty.
I'm going to go Los Gatos. I know Joseph mentioned they were not exactly prolific offensively last week, but I think they're going to be motivated to work on that this week in practice, and they're going to win this one.
Has retired from teaching, so I anticipate Mark Crail sitting at his screen all week, finding holes in Liberty's defense and finding ways to stop the Liberty offense. I'm taking Los Gatos, and Mike Lefkow is taking Los Gatos. So 3 for Los Gatos and 2 for Liberty. That's how we like it, right?
That's how we like it. We love it.
All right. This next one, McCymonds with, according to Joseph Dycus, 19 players on its roster, 0-1. Lost a heartbreaker last week to Reardon, hitting the road in a game that was scheduled late after I think it was Del Oro who dropped St. Francis, and then St. Francis had to pick up a game, picked up Mac, which is good for us because it's a great game between 2 storied Bay Area programs. So it'll be St. Francis at home coming off a very impressive win over Helix. They will be playing McCymonds, who will be looking to get back after losing to Reardon 35-34. I'll start. I'm going to take St. Francis to win at home. Lefkow's taking St. Francis. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going St. Francis. I'm really looking forward to being there for this. I think it's really going to be a great game. 2 really good teams. I think McCymonds is going to put up a really good fight, but they're just dealing with a lot, like, you guys talked about low numbers, really emotional, hard-fought game the week before. I think they're capable of winning this game, but I'm going to give the edge to St. Francis.
Nathan.
Yeah, I'm going to go St. Francis as well. I think their running game too much, and with low numbers, it's going to be hard to stop 2 or 3 backs that can easily go for 100 yards.
Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be close for the first maybe 2.5 quarters, but St. Francis is going to wear down McCymonds. And McCymonds, they've never had crazy high numbers, never going to have 50 dudes on the sideline, but being at that game, only having 19 players to start out the season is kind of stunning, even by McCymonds standards.
It really is. I after going up against 300-pounders last week from Reardon, to have to go up against a team like, St. Francis is going to be very physical on the line.
They got 300-pounders too.
And they got physical running backs, right?
Yeah, that Kingston Canilao, in our WCAL preview, several coaches said he was the best player in the league. So
physical. So not a good matchup for Mac. We have 4 more games to pick. We got Reardon at St. Bonaventure. This rematch of a game that Joseph covered last year in the city. St. Bonaventure won last year. They're 2-0. They beat Birmingham last week 41-27. That Birmingham team sounds familiar. Is that a team that played?
That's the team that played Acalanes.
Acalanes, right? That Acalanes beat last year. Well, they beat them 41-27, and then they also beat St. Francis of La Cañada 38-7. Reardon coming off the 1-point win. I'll start. I took Reardon last week. I'm actually going to take Reardon this week. I think they're going to go to 2-0, and they're going to find a way to win on the road. Joseph, who you got?
I have St. Bonaventure. I think they're really good, and I think Reardon losing to St. Bonaventure is not really a indictment of Reardon. Is more just St. Bonaventure is that talented.
Nathan?
Yeah, I'm going St. Bonaventure as well. I think that it was an emotional game for Reardon, but usually that doesn't bode well for the next week. So I'm gonna take St. Bonaventure.
Christian?
I'm going to go with Reardon. I think they have the depth to sustain a letdown, and I think also the fact that they have to travel so far, while it could be a downside, maybe it's an advantage this time because they get to spend that time together, and I think they're going to come out and put on a good performance.
So 2 for Reardon and 3 for St. Bonaventure. Is that what I'm saying? We are going to push this next game down to the end.
What did Lefty pick?
St. Bonaventure. Serra-De La Salle, we're pushing to the end, so we're going to go SoCal at San Ramon Valley. San Ramon beat SI handily last week, and as we noted, SoCal lost a close one to Los Gatos. I'm taking San Ramon. Lefkow's taking San Ramon. Nathan, who you got?
I'm also taking San Ramon. I think they just have too much athleticism.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm going with San Ramon Valley. I think SoCal played Los Gatos tough, but that's a bit of a trip for them this game, and I think San Ramon Valley is just too good.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm taking San Ramon too.
Clean sweep for San Ramon. And then Dorsey at Castlemont. Castlemont won on the road last year, 27-16 over Dorsey. I think they win at home this year, taking Castlemont. This is a season opener for Castlemont, right? All right.
Yes,
Lefkow's also taking Castlemont. Real quickly, Joseph, who you got?
I am going to take Castlemont as well, and I've heard that they're going to be showing Dorsey around Oakland before the game.
Very nice. Nice hosts, and then they're going to send them home with a loss, right?
They
All
will.
right.
They
Christian Babcock, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Castlemont. I think they definitely got this one in the bag.
All right. And Nathan?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Castlemont. I think I'm gonna go to town on this one.
All right. Last game on the list. Serra-De La Salle. 2 years ago, Serra had a very narrow win, dramatic win at Folsom. Hit the road, went to De La Salle the next week, and pulled out a 24-21 win on a late field goal, from what I remember. Then last year in a close game for 3 quarters, Serra pulled away late to hand De La Salle, which when you look at it, is an alarming score given what De La Salle has done to Northern California opponents over the last like 30 or 40 years, with Serra winning last year's game 28-0. De La Salle obviously knows that they have to score more than 0 to win this game, which given what we saw last week, I think they will score more than 0. Now the question is, will they win? Who wants to take this one first?
I'll go first. I think De La Salle wins.
Joseph's taking De La Salle.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be low scoring, and I think the game should be over in under 2 hours.
Nathan.
You know, Patrick Walsh said never doubt those Serra Padres, but that's exactly what I'm going to this game, and I'm going to take De La Salle in a close game.
We're not doing this again, are we? Did we not learn our lesson? Christian, who you got?
You know, at this point, I'm just fascinated to see if it's going to be a clean sweep. I, too, am going to go with De La Salle. And I think if Serra wins this game, they need to get everyone subscribed to the Mercury News because we are giving them an endless supply of bulletin board material at this point.
Well, let me turn on my video here because hopefully it doesn't crash. Oh, you probably can't see it, but I, too, have De La Salle winning. All 5 of us going De La Salle to win.
Patrick Walsh, if you want to print out the article we're going to write about this and pin it up on every locker like De La Salle did when I picked Clayton Valley to beat them by 18, you can do that.
I thought really hard about picking Serra after last week, and obviously would not be shocked if they win. It won't be a stunner. We can't write stunner this time because we learned our lesson last week. I just think if De La Salle's to the top dog in NorCal, they've got a veteran team. They got a veteran quarterback. They've got really quick running backs. They're really good on the line. If they don't get Serra this time, I'm not sure when they're going to get him. So I'm taking De La Salle too. You guys want to chime in with any other closing thoughts? I am a bit surprised all 5 of us are taking De La Salle, but that's.
You know, I think it might be the first week since I've been here that I haven't had any crazy upset predictions. I really wanted to go Serra. I really did. But
it's not an upset
technically it is.
if they win.
De La
Now,
Salle's
I don't
the
think.
#1 team.
Well, number 1, I would have argued. You know where I stood. Everybody has different philosophies, and
Where did you stand?
I need to not. I would have put, personally. I go with, shout out to our colleague John Wilner, who I followed his rankings for a number of years, and it doesn't matter if he has a team 1 and another team 8. If the 8th ranked team has the better resume after any given week, that team jumps up. And now you look at the 2 resumes: Serra with a win at Folsom, De La Salle with a win at home over Grant. I think Serra has the best win of any team in the Bay Area right now, and that's why I think they're number 1. If this game were at Serra, I think I would be picking Serra, but it's not. It's at De La Salle.
Fair enough. What about you?
Everybody has a different philosophy on rankings, right? That's what makes them fun.
Right.
Anybody else have any thoughts before we wrap her up? Do we freeze?
I believe we lost Nathan.
Well, I'll just. I know we touched on this.
He was
already,
there.
but I think Serra-De La Salle, whichever way it turns out, is going to be another fantastic game. And Joseph, I would not be shocked if Serra goes out and prints out all our predictions again, because at this point we do seem like haters. I will acknowledge that. So
there's nothing more fun than being a hater.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll hear about it on the sideline on Friday night, right, Joseph?
We will. We absolutely will. We'll hear about it in the parking lot. We'll hear about it on the line to the concession stand. We'll hear about it on the sideline.
Christian, don't you wish you could be there?
I'll bet you $5 that. Yeah, a little bit. Although I think McCymonds-St. Francis is going to be a really good game.
Really
too.
good game.
I just want you guys to tell me if Serra wins if they play Not Like Us afterward, because I would be willing to bet money that someone's going to be playing that song after if they win that game.
100%.
Could be. We're going to wrap it up here. Check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Sign up for a digital subscription. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you made it to the end, and we'll see what happens in week 2. Shout out to Nathan for having a great week 1, 14-1. He's in first place. I'm at 12-3, second place. Christian, 11-4, third place. Lefkow at 10-5, and Joseph already 5 games back in the standings after 1 week.
Only week 1.
All right. That is a wrap.